As an organization, the Federal Bureau of Investigation's FBI required a drastic development and innovation to its investigation of case management software systems in response to an array of inefficiencies across the organization. This was highlighted by the 9/11 events, in which communication and data transfer were significantly flawed. Following the failure of the initial virtual case file project in 2005, in response to these inefficiencies, it was concluded that a new form of management had to be incorporated to effectively conduct the project, thus leading to the integration of Agile within the Sentinel Project. In the context of the Sentinel Project, the federal IT project was plagued with failures, including budget overruns and scheduling delays within its first phase. In response, in December of 2008, the Lehman Brothers Executive, Fulgham, was brought in to oversee the project, leading to a transformation, managing it through an Agile approach, utilising an iterative scrum method, leveraged by 2-week sprints. In the context of this organization, willingness to integrate and flexibility were present. Thus, the Agile approach was able to capitalize on this, leading to its effective implementation. It can be seen by the previous failure of the Trilogy project and Phase 1's predicted ongoing failure, that traditional waterfall project management was incapable, in the sense that the long cyclic process isn't effective in reacting to change and doesn't offer flexibility in terms of development and testing. Areas where we can assume Agile can exploit and harness the opportunities to maximize the output of the organization by implementing a clear process of transparency and accountability to ensure the effective development and monitoring of the constant software. An Agile principle present is that of the frequent delivery of working software through self-organizing teams. The design was broken into 670 user stories with 45 staff and a demo for every sprint. This allowed for forecasting of scheduling and allowed for the planning of incremental changes regarding software, with the product owner prioritizing the work through effective Scrum methodology. Another Agile principle is that of self and process improvement, which allowed for the FBI to have a high degree of flexibility in terms of the development and testing options. A major issue identified in the failure of the initial Trilogy project, and continuous error in the earlier phases of the Sentinel project, which led to many deliverables to meeting the requirements due to poor testing procedures. The principle, which is clearly challenged in its conventional use, is that of the role of transparency, a pillar of the empirical process control and Scrum theory in general. Following the organization's initial failures, their stance on ethical transparency was made apparent by the willingness to release schedules, understanding how it provides a strategic advantage to the organization as it lends credibility and establishes trust to all the stakeholders, and facilitates the process of organizational change to maximize efficiency. Moreover, accountability was another principle challenged by the Agile approach. Highlighted by the initial failures, numerous key areas were attributed to the lack of quality indicators and benchmarks, stemming from inefficient testing process. Truly, there was contention with the FBI regarding the governance and responsibility assigned to each department. Through the implementation of an array of plans and policies integrating a governance structure, the FBI was able to address the issues identified. Through the development of the Lifecycle Management Directive, which required approval to progress into following phases on the basis of the requirements having been met, allowing for a standardized, sustainable process for effective software development. In conclusion, the Sentinel Project was a landmark case for the overall integration of the Agile approach for software development projects within organizations as a whole. Through its iterative, efficient approach, which maximizes areas in which traditional project management was flawed. Essentially, through the integration of the Agile framework, the requirements were delivered on time and under half the expected budget, exceeding all expected targets, by undertaking an alternate perspective on organizational management and incorporating streamlined decision-making. The project was ultimately saved.